Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Arnold Barboza defeats Jose Ramirez by a 10-round unanimous decision, and it was a pretty resounding victory. Before I get into it, I would like to say, I don't understand why this fight was a 10-rounder, and I'll say the same for William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer. Fights at this sort of level, in my opinion, shouldn't be 10-rounders, and I believe the William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer fight had a WBC interim title on the line, I believe. So yeah, no idea why these two fights in particular were 10-rounders. But nevertheless, Jose Ramirez completely outboxed by Arnold Barboza. Going into it, I felt that Ramirez would have a little too much pressure, a little too much know-how, and I felt his experience would shine through, but ultimately, I felt that Ramirez in this fight looked flat. I think at times he looked a little uninterested, and he was very guilty of following Barboza around the ring for the majority of rounds, wasn't jabbing his way in, wasn't really feinting, he wasn't really, moving his head or anything like that, just following Barboza around the ring, looking for a big overhand right, looking for a big left hook, one at a time, and that gave Barboza the opportunity to stick and move. He wasn't running, he was taking the half step back, he was sidestepping, jab, jab, right hand, jab, primarily keeping it long, keeping it behind straight punches, but he would also mix it up. He would very often throw a left hook to the body at the end of his straight punch combinations to keep Ramirez guessing. And I felt his bodywork in this fight actually went unnoticed, I would say, to a degree, because the commentators weren't really talking about it, but I was quite impressed with Barboza's left hook to the body throughout this fight. Also, he was mixing it up with the uppercut as Ramirez was coming in. He was kind of open for that shot by virtue of him not moving his head. He was coming in straight lines, so the uppercut was always there for Barboza, and he landed it effectively from both hands. There was a couple of times where, wouldn't say he hurt Ramirez, but really got his attention with those shots. And I felt that added to Ramirez's apprehension, his unwillingness to really apply that pressure we're used to seeing him apply. And yeah, it just looked like Ramirez in this fight was very flat. I'm not sure whether that was a motivation thing. Ramirez has been a unified world champion, fought in big fights, fought in multiple world title fights, made some good money. Was he just not motivated? Maybe. The commentary team was speculating that maybe now the weight is getting too much, and I did mention that prior to this fight about the weight of Ramirez, because he's been talking about going to welterweight for the best part of sort of 3 years now. So if he's going to continue, he should definitely move up in weight, because again, the commentary pointed out, rightly so, that Ramirez going into this fight, he looked very dry. It looked like he didn't get a good sweat on, and he looked stiff in there, he looked robotic. Not dynamic at all, whereas Barboza was moving freely, going backwards, going side to side, feinting, going up and down with the jab, showing some good variety in his work in general. Just a lot more dynamic, a lot more agile, a lot more light on his feet. Balance was far better. And that's another thing. Ramirez's balance in this fight, he knocked himself off balance so many times, firing from too far out, falling short and, losing his balance. Well, again, that was partly, I think, because he wasn't using his jab to gauge the distance as he was trying to apply pressure. But yeah, just a real poor performance by Ramirez, which is a shame because he's always been one of those fighters who leaves it all on the line. But in this one, he just didn't look right, is how I would describe it. Not to take anything away from Barboza, because I thought Barboza boxed a really good fight, educated fight behind the jab. Again, he wasn't running, he was actually sticking and moving, he was punching, he actually threw more punches than Ramirez, side to side, backwards, At times he would hold his feet and walk Ramirez onto the big right hand. He got Ramirez's respect, So, good performance by Barboza, and a needed performance after that last fight with the Irish dude. I forgot his name already. Because, you know, that fight prior, Barboza looked very poor. And it put a lot of doubts in people's minds. Because from what I saw of Barboza prior to that, I always quite rated him. But I couldn't get that performance out of my head. But he's rebounded. Good win. And, you know, he's moved to, 32, 33-0, something like that. So, you know, theoretically, he's in line for a world title shot at 140. Whether that be Teofimo, Vaccaro, Hitchinson winner, WBC title, whoever it may be. But, yeah, he's in line for a title shot. Anyway, share your thoughts below. What did you make of this fight? Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.